Kevin.
Ah!
Today we're going to be talking about Don Van Vliet.
I don't know who that is.
He cultivated an aura of mystery and was very eccentric on stage and off in his music, in his career.
He's a musician.
He's a musician.
Oh.
And his name is
Don Van.
Captain Beefheart.
Captain Beefheart. We're talking about him today here on... but first, if you want to learn guitar online, please click below. Sign up for a free lesson, and we will do that for you at the time of your choosing. Kevin, Brian, Captain Beefheart. Captain Beefheart. You are a Beefheartian.
I greatly enjoy the music of Captain Beefheart, yes. Much to my family's chagrin. This is the type of music when I put on, my daughter just looks at me and is like, what is wrong with you? What is this?
Does he have any songs that I might know?
No. If you're talking about band falling down stage while screaming.
Did he do Spoon Man?
No.
That's Soundgarden.
Soundgarden.
Did he do... there's one that I know. It's not Spoon Man. It's something Man. Ocean Man.
That's Ween.
Damn it! Is it really?
Yeah.
Don Van Vliet, better known as Captain Beefheart, remains one of rock's most enigmatic figures, an avant-garde musician turned reclusive painter. Beefheart blended Delta blues, free jazz.
The early stuff is really bluesy.
Are you sure about that?
Positive.
Surreal poetry into a genre-defying sound that baffled me. That's it. Just baffled me.
I just want to point out that last week we were talking about Meatloaf, and then this week we're talking about Captain Beefheart.
Yeah, there's a theme here. Get it now on our new meme coin, Meat Beef.
Meat Beef coin.
I've definitely seen a movie called Meat Beef. It's not the kind of movie you want to watch with your family. Just saying.
Beefheart's life and career were rife with oddities, controversies, and he was very eccentric.
He was like the friend and protege of Frank Zappa. Like they grew up together. He and Zappa.
That's wild. Yeah, Frank Zappa. Talking about Captain Beefheart, his name, how he got the name. It was originally associated with a sexual joke between Van Vliet and his friends in high school. Zappa explained in 1972 that the name referred to a beefheart that was very sensitive and tender towards women. Have you heard that?
I have not, no.
Okay.
Okay.
You have a beefheart.
What is a beefheart?
A beefheart is something that's very sensitive and tender towards women. Zappa and Van Vliet allegedly had written a film script called Captain Beefheart versus the Grunt People. See, this is all in jest. I think when I listen to Captain Beefheart, please put it on at home. You could probably put some on here, but I don't know. It's all just kind of like, it was like this, what is it called? Trout
Mask Replica.
Trout Mask Replica just sounds like, again, just screaming bands falling off a cliff in the countryside. And it just sounds like during 1969, I think this is when this was recorded.
Yeah.
It's just done because nobody was doing that. Like, it was all polished recordings with 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, progressions. 1, 4, 5 progressions. I'm sorry.
So,
I'm actually a musician.
Beefheart would supposedly go around to everyone in the band and say, like, you play this, and then sing a part to them. And he didn't have any formal musical training, so he would just like tell them what to play, and then he would do that for every band member, and they'd play it. And he was a dictator.
He just told them what to do.
And they lived in a house with the windows blacked out,
Ooh.
and they rehearsed like 12 hours a day.
Ugh.
And people have said that he was a bastard to work for. But like what you get with him is a very specific. There is no doubting who you're listening to when you're hearing Captain Beefheart. Like it is an idiosyncratic, very specific sound.
Airplane full of children blowing up, playing music. That's what it sounds like to me.
It's not wrong. I actually quite like some of it, but I understand that position.
But just getting back to the name, it came from a screenplay that I wrote when I was about 18, a horror movie. This is Frank Zappa talking. If you don't know what Frank Zappa is, please look him up. Don Van Vliet was going to play the part of Captain Beefheart. It was a story about a guy with a beef heart who had this sort of weird thing about helping people. I get a kick out of that.
I'm just going to cut the camera for Kevin here listening to Captain Beefheart. and just try and what song are you listening to, Kevin?
Frownland.
Is that from Trout Mask Replica?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm just capturing your face when you're taking this in.
What do you think? I mean, your fish background will appreciate it, but
So, objectively, it's very bad. But something about it makes me really like it.
yeah,
Yeah, just so you guys know what track I was listening to. It's borderline arrhythmic, borderline atonal.
Yes.
He's just yelling.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's rock and roll, but like objectively, just bad. It sounds like little kids just kind of wailing on instruments for like their second week of music lessons.
So I don't disagree with any of that. But what I will say is, as you listen to it and you realize that it's not that it's meticulously planned out, and that there is a point behind it, it changes the way. Like if you hear it 2 or 3 times and you know when the change comes, then you can see the structure of it, and it does open up a little bit. I'm not saying it's going to ever turn into like the Rainbow Connection from the Muppets or something like that,
Right.
But you know, it's going to open up to you a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna, after 20 seconds of listening, say no, this isn't for me, because I'm sure like there's payoff in putting in some time and listening to it, maybe once, maybe twice, and finding those changes and listening for them and being rewarded in the resolution of them. Dan and I recently took a drive out to the Queens location, and I showed him one of Fish's longest studio tracks called Union Federal.
Okay.
And it's basic.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay.
20 something minutes long, and
nonsense.
it starts out as nonsense, but there's payoff in it. No?
There's tension and release at the end, but it's still like very abstract
Yeah.
art.
Yeah. The
I
art
remember
house.
the first time I heard Miles Davis's "Bitches Brew," which is a very like avant-garde for his time record. I was listening with a friend of mine from college, and it just sounded like noise to me. And then he started conducting it, like because he knew it really well, and he was showing me sort of where everything fit in. And it's like, oh, that's now I have unlocked the pathway in. I think sometimes you need that sort of Sherpa to get you into certain things.
Look at you. Frank Zappa and he were both high school sweethearts. I mean, students, sorry. They bonded over I don't know why I did that. They bonded over a love of blues, that's why. And R&B records and wild creative ideas. Zappa later quipped that as teenagers in the late 1950s, they sat on a porch trying to dream up names wilder than the mothers of invention. And one of Vlet's own ideals, or Vlet, did I say that wrong? Was Captain Beefheart. So it keeps changing. The story of where he got his name is weird. But he sounds like Howlin' Wolf on some records.
Yeah, absolutely. The early stuff really does sound like Delta Blues stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty straight blues, actually.
But he... I just lost my rage. Sorry.
What was the name of Les Claypool's band?
Primus?
No. The other band.
Sausage?
No.
Colonel Claypool's Bucket of Bernie Brains?
No.
The Fearless Flying Frog Brigade?
Are
That's
you
the
making
one.
that up?
No, I'm
That's
not.
the one.
No, I'm
Fearless Flying Frog.
I saw them
Brigade.
last year. They were great.
Nice.
Yeah, they did all of Animals by Pink Floyd.
Wow.
With John Lennon's son on guitar.
Jeez.
And Harry Waters, Roger Waters' son on keyboards.
That's pretty crazy.
Whoa.
That's wild. That's a fun band name, though.
Yeah, it is. But like, this is early Beefheart stuff. It's like straight blues rock. You know, it's not.
Also, Trout Mask Replica was more of a just an absurdist take on everything.
Yeah, but listen to his voice here. That's just the blues. That's that. There's nothing really avant-garde about that. But you know, eventually he turns that into something strange and avant-garde. Yeah.
Yeah. That was definitely way more accessible than when I was just listening.
Yes.
What's this song called? Hair Pie.
Do you know what that's a slang term for, Kevin?
Yes, I do.
You should listen to it then. Maybe learn something.
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful that I live in 2025. You know what I mean?
Don Glenn Vliet was born in Glendale, California on January 15th, 1941, an only child with precocious talent. He was an art prodigy. So he changed his name. That his name is not his name. So he's got a name he made up, and he's got his real name. Did you know that? Did I just teach you something today?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. That sure comes back when I think I've taught
I mean,
you something.
I did not know that before. So yes, tell me something.
All right, fine. So Trout Mask Replica is the one that I think is probably his most famous work. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not my favorite to sit down and listen to necessarily.
Wait, you don't like? You don't like this? For the listeners.
It's sweet lovemaking music, as they say. In the fall of 1968, Captain Beefheart convened his magic band in a small rented house in Woodland Hills, California, to begin work on Trout Mask Replica. And when unfolded over the next 8 months, would become a rock and roll lore.
Yes, 8 months, folks. You heard that right. 8 months.
Why? For that. Please bang on that harder, not softer.
Yeah.
Okay. Beefheart was determined to create something utterly original, an album that sounded like nothing that came before. To achieve this, he effectively turned the house into a musical commune and boot camp. Band members, all young musicians, handpicked and named by Beefheart, bunch of people here that I don't know, were instructed to live the music. They rehearsed constantly, 14-hour days or more in seclusion.
So you actually know of one of the Magic Band members from the later period. Because you're a fan, as am I, of the first couple of Frank Black solo albums.
Yeah.
Eric Drew Feldman, who produced those albums, is from the Magic Band. He played on the last 3 Beefheart records.
Wow.
Keyboard and bass player. And some of those guys are amazing. You're also a Jeff Buckley guy.
I sure am.
Lucas, what's his name?
Oh.
Play with him. What's his first name?
George Lucas.
No, not George. That's a Star Wars guy. Gary Lucas.
Gary Lucas.
Gary
I was
Lucas
about
also
to say it.
was in the Magic Band as well.
He was. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah, so I'm sure these guys were all incredible musicians. They were just made to do very strange things musically.
Yeah, he would. Kevin, you have anything you want to say about that?
No.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
You piqued my interest with George Lucas. Then the rest of it was just noise.
You finished Andor, right?
Yes. It was excellent. Yeah.
all you gotta do is say something in Star Wars, and your ears just perk up immediately.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
There's a guy who plays for the White Sox playing the Mets today who has the most Star Wars ass name. Hang on.
Berkey Flafloory.
It's essentially that. It's let's see, what is this guy's name? Chase Mydroth.
That's a fake name. That's not a real person.
Chase Mydroth. That's a Star Wars name. Right
That
there.
is.
Yeah.
It's a bad bounty hunter.
He would berate a musician continually, sometimes for days, until the musician collapsed into tears or just total submission. How did they get paid? His fingers were left. One guitarist's fingers were left a bloody mess after forcing him. Beefheart forced him to play with heavy gauge strings to get the desired sound. Trout Mask House was having like a cult-like atmosphere. John French, is that anybody you know? He's a drummer.
Yeah,
He
I know him from
served
the
as
Magic
musical director. Good for him. Said Beefheart held the group talks that were more like brainwashing sessions, nightmare encounter groups with a lunatic in charge. Sounds like real brave. Right, Kevin?
No comment.
Band members were often deprived of food and money with no income aside from welfare and small handouts. There's my answer to that. Some members grew so desperate that they stole food from local shops. Visitors who dropped by were shocked. One described the musician's gaunt appearance as cadaverous. Another said the environment in that house was positively Manson-esque. Yeah, well, listen to the album.
Yeah, it's not totally surprising when you hear what the album sounds like.
So anyway, that's how they made the record. Trout Mask Replica finally emerged in June 1969. So somebody released this.
Yeah.
So a record label released it. There was the guy, right? My guy, who was like, "What do you got from Beefheart?
I love this guy.
What do you got? Let me listen to it."
I think Zappa's success got him signed.
Zappa, tell me, you think this is going to be a hit? Is that what he did?
Probably, yeah.
Zappa was like, oh, I don't know, man.
I don't know,
This
man.
is probably pretty cool or do whatever, I guess.
He's like, I don't care, man. Like, whatever. He was anti everything.
I mean, Zappa had success, but he wasn't like a super duper star this time. But I guess he had enough clout to get his buddy signed.
Trout Mask Replica finally emerged in June 1969, a 28-track double LP on Zappa's Straight Records. It was clear. So Zappa didn't have that guy there. I'm sorry to say. He probably didn't have my guy, right?
No, probably not.
No. It was clear that Beefheart had achieved his aim of making something utterly unique. Trout Mask Replica. On first listen, Trout Mask is a cacophony, a shrunking free jazz blues nightmare that seems to defy musical logic. And I think you heard a little bit of that, Kevin.
Just for the listeners at home.
Rolling Stone famously noticed that it sounds like raw Delta blues with Beefheart singing and ranting, reciting poetry over fractured guitar licks.
Or sometimes just skrunking violins.
Beefheart's own voice lurches from a deep howling wolf growl to high falsetto wails and whatever that is.
I think that's saxophone.
Critic Lester Bang says, it wasn't ahead of its time, it was outside of its time. Pure sonic chaos.
This is a 5-minute track, by the way. We're a minute in.
How do you produce that? Beefheart claims to have written all 28 songs in a single 8.5 hour burst at the piano. An instrument he didn't even play.
No way. I can't believe that. I can't believe that.
I can't play piano, and I can do better than that. I'm not a big... I like this as a prop. Like, I'll listen to it and be like, this is hilarious, but then not listen to it for real. Like, do you put this on for real?
On occasion, yeah.
That's
one track of 28, yeah. But,
what are you doing when... Are you cleaning? Are you doing other things? Like, what are you doing?
Plotting.
plotting, yeah.
Yeah.
Plotting the murder of my enemy.
Thinking about AI?
I would get so mad I would turn it off.
It's like a love song to AI.
Do you think AI could ever produce something
Definitely.
like this?
No, definitely
Yes.
not. No.
No?
No. AI... Here's the thing.
Get back to yourself. Put it on
Yeah,
yourself.
put it on you.
I am. Listen up, everybody. AI cannot replicate the emotions of a person. And this is clearly somebody with some broken-ass emotions trying to get something out there. And AI could never. Just like... Okay, hang on. I'm going to play a bit of my favorite Beefheart song.
It sounds like a duck dying. Wow.
I'm coming around to this.
But here, so this is it's called "Woe Is a Me Bop."
Put it a little closer there, friend. That's cool. Yeah.
Multiple rhythms going on.
Polyrhythm.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's not an everyday listen, but I think there's something valuable about stretching your boundaries sometimes, listening to stuff that's not cookie cutter, bullshit.
Yeah.
Right, man? Am I right, man?
Yeah, man. Totally.
Yeah, man. No, there's a place. There's a time and a place. Like when I listen to music at home, and it goes from Donny Hathaway to like
Donny Osmond. It's your Donny playlist. Donny Wahlberg.
Donny Wahlberg. Or that I'm just putting on like some random jazz thing that just has a very old sounding something that I've never heard before. My kids are looking at me strange because they're like, "What are you doing?" But they love it because they'll ask me questions. They're like, "Well, who is that? What type of music is that?" What?
Really?
Yeah.
Like curious about it?
Yeah, Ava. I mean, her musical palette is awesome,
Okay.
and she constantly gets my oldest, Ava, constantly gets compliments on her aux abilities.
When somebody hands you the aux cord.
Yes.
Okay.
And I told her, please don't go into DJing, but I'm very happy. Middle child, Sam. I don't know. Jury's out. Daniel.
Sam, if you're watching.
Daniel loves Kanye, so we're trying to fix that.
Has he heard the new Kanye?
He has. No comments. We had a conversation about it. No comment. Thank you.
What was the conversation? Can you go through that word
No,
for word?
we can't.
My kids will occasionally ask me about what I'm listening to. My daughter usually rolls her eyes. My son is genuinely curious and will repeat things to my wife that are funny. He'll be like, "Mom, do you know that John Coltrane was trying to channel prayer through his saxophone. He's like, why do you know that? Well, Dad told me.
I love that.
So yeah, stuff like that.
I love that. No, that's good. That's very good. Continue to do that, please.
Love Supreme. I love
My favorite
Supreme.
record of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listen to it on my birthday every year. It's my one. I wake up. Everyone leaves the house. I play it as loud as I can, and that's my like communing with the world for the day.
That is really interesting.
Yeah.
I've done it for like 20 years now.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It's the first thing I do on my birthday every year. When everyone leaves the house, I put it on.
But what brings that on? Please, let's. There's psychological reason to this.
It's my favorite record of all time. It's like if starting a new year. Let me start with the best music I can think of, and it's
Granted,
beautiful.
it is.
It's great. I mean, it's not super long. It's a good amount. I sit there and I kind of meditate a little bit, just get into a good groove, and it's my favorite part of my birthday.
Love it. Kevin, you have anything that you do like that on your birthday? To yourself?
I get naked.
I knew that was coming.
And I listen.
Trying to lead you down that road.
I listen to just Happy Birthday to You.
Here's a Hampton Comes Alive.
The Hampton Comes Alive version on repeat all day.
We don't have a lot of time to go into his whole life, but
he did become like a very successful painter after he retired from music in the early 80s and started painting and became a very successful painter. And
it's like George Bush.
Yes,
it's got the same story arc.
Exactly like George W. Bush. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. In his later years, Van Vliet, his health deteriorated by the 90s. He had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Oh, no.
It's a progressive illness that causes muscle weakness and made it difficult for him to speak and get around. He began using a wheelchair, yada, yada. December 17th, 2010, he died in a hospital in California due to complications from that illness. He was 69. But his legend has only grown. Did you?
I didn't.
Okay.
Brian did.
We both did.
I mouthed it. Brian said it out loud.
Okay. Trout Mask Replica is now firmly enshrined as a classic of 20th century music.
One last Beefheart fact. There's a Frank Black song called 85 Weeks because apparently Beefheart told Eric Feldman that he one time didn't sleep for 85 weeks, which is obviously not a real thing you can do, but that's what Beefheart claimed.
Yeah, you can die from that, can't you? Like if you
try to go like 8-9 days without sleeping, you could seriously fuck up your health.
Yeah, I believe that. Kevin, take note.
I wasn't listening.
Kevin notoriously will go all in on something. If you tell him something that is good for you or bad for you, he will go all in on it.
Yeah, either way. Yeah. Just to see what happens.
Yeah. He's an all or nothing guy, as he's told me.
In 2020, I just treated. In 2021, I just treated my body like it was a science experiment. Just got ripped.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah. What was the guy from Rocky IV?
Ivan Drago?
Yeah, he
Rocky.
was. Yeah.
I will break you. If he dies, he dies.
That's the second week in a row we talked about him, I think. So please check out Trout Mask Replica. It is interesting, I would say. If you like a sonic encounter where you like to listen, which I think the lost art of listening is gone, right? I would say that just sitting and listening is a lost art, right, Kevin?
Yes.
No more. Please listen to it. And join us now for a game.
Yeah, baby.
You guys are only here for the game. Brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts.
I love Dunkin'.
Yeah, why do you love Dunkin'?
I just think that there's no better way to start my day than a nice Dunkin' refresher, especially as it gets warmer out.
Okay. 7,000 calories of Dunkin' refresher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like in a giant 10-gallon jug.
How many calories does a Dunkin' refresher have? Dunkin' refresher.
Another thing I love about Dunkin' is that all of their nutritional information is easy to find online.
Yeah, actually, it's not that bad for you. According to this, it has 200 calories for a large. It's actually not bad. But what's in it? We need our friend RFK to come out and find out what's in it. Yeah, but okay, the game, kids. We gotta get back to work. What is this game? Trout Mask or Replica. Okay? A game of surreal trivia, misdirection, and musical madness.
Okay. Do you have to answer these in the form of a question?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
Players are presented with a series of odd questions in one of these three categories. Trout, questions about fish. Mask, questions about masks, disguises, theaters, or concealment. And replica, questions about copies, fakes, imitations, and duplications. But the correct answer is never from the questions category. A trout question must have the answer that is mask or replica. A mask question must have an answer that is trout or replica. And a replica question must have an answer that is trout or mask. Your faces.
I don't. I was only okay. I don't want to say I wasn't listening again because I feel like I've been doing a lot of that. But what?
Don't worry. Just roll with it.
How do you win?
Let me win. You still get your coffee.
So the answer is Trout Mask or replica.
Yeah.
But it's not in those categories.
Okay.
Yeah. He listens. Look
All
at
right,
him.
okay.
He's such a good boy.
Yeah.
Such a good boy.
Good job, Brian.
Oh my God.
Thanks, dads.
It's 2025.
What does that mean?
My two dads.
She, they. This item is often worn in kabuki theater to hide a performer's facial expressions. Wait, this category is trout. Sorry.
Okay. Ding.
Yes.
What is a mask?
Yes. Very good.
Wow. I would have totally guessed trout.
Again, category trout. It's artificially. You're up. It's
Yeah.
artificially created copy of an original work, often used in museums.
What is a replica?
Very good.
Yes.
Traditionally worn in the Venetian Carnival, this ornate item covers the face and often includes a long beak.
What is a mask?
A musician exhibit labeled as authentic, but actually is hyper-realistic 3D printed copy.
What is a replica?
Very good. Category mask.
What the fuck? How is that? Time out. That category was trout?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Category mask. This is known for its aggressive nature and a jumping ability.
What is a trout?
A perfect visual imitation, but not the original, often sold to tourists.
What is a replica?
Very good. A delicately colored freshwater species that spawns in cold, oxygen-rich streams.
This is
What is a trout?
This is so fucking dumb. You're asking me if I know the difference right now between a fish and water and
You famously
a word that means just a recreation of
You
something.
famously do not listen.
Okay.
I just wanted to. He had to explain it to you. We could have gone.
I don't think I even needed it explained to me. I feel like I could have gotten it.
Okay. What's the score?
It's 4-3, but it's his turn. He's going to tie it up right here.
All right, here
presumably.
it is. Category replica,
the
known
tie.
for spawning and running pink flesh. This is often smoked.
What is a trout?
Very good. Used in rituals and sometimes parties.
Mask.
Yes. And the tiebreaker question is this.
No, this will tie it for Kevin.
Oh, this will tie it for Kevin.
I just want to tell everybody who's watching at home, prior to getting on to starting this broadcast, Dan and Brian were engaged in a very heated debate over the legitimacy and usefulness of AI.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Dan, was this game created by AI or is it created by you?
It was created by me.
Oh, that's... Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure you want to own that one?
But the details and the questions were created by AI.
Okay, all right, cool.
Do you want the prompts? I can give you the prompt.
I got that on camera. Thank goodness.
Very good.
So Kevin can tie with this
So
question.
if you tie it with this question, then the game's over.
Okay.
All right. Tiebreaker question, category replica. In this, a mythological disguise that allows gods to walk among mortals without being recognized.
And the answer is either trout or mask.
Yes.
Jeez.
I'm
You for a
gonna
friend?
say I'm just gonna guess.
Okay.
What is a mask?
Very good.
Yes.
Nobody wins.
I gotta go with coffee.
Yeah. You picked it up, and you had to.
It gets very hard to put these games together. You, sir, or madam, can also join us every week for this podcast. Please click below, subscribe, and join us next time for a podcast.
Brought to you by Duncan. We love
Real
Duncan.
Brave
America
Life.
runs on Duncan.
America runs on it. It's
Real
true.
Brave Life.
Bye.